It's time to expose the biggest group of slimy, sleazy, two-faced pricks on YouTube. The YouTubers whose only talent is making mind-numbingly boring content that suckles at the Disney Corporation's teat in the hope of maybe getting some free toys or a movie ticket, or if we dream really big, a job at Disney. That dream's not coming true. Yes, we're going to look at the Disney shill channels and their distrust and low opinion of their own fan base, and their organised campaign to have other YouTubers deplatformed. Let's get on to the real problem with all these shill YouTubers and their focus on other YouTubers. Now, you may have seen the video and accompanying text that was sent to YouTube calling for the removal of certain YouTubers who are critical of Disney in the direction of Star Wars. A lot of Disney shill content creators banded together to try and remove Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, and RK Outpost from YouTube under the guise of just having them demonetized. Now, even though I do agree with a lot of things these gentlemen say, I don't agree with everything. It would be really weird to agree on everything. A group of people that share the exact same opinion on everything, well, that's what you call a cult. There's also the big problem of Ryan from RK Outpost not liking pineapple on pizza, and Gary Nerdrotic enjoying pineapple on pizza.
I mean, the real answer is probably jizz.
As an Australian who comes from a land where pineapple on pizza is common, love me a Hawaiian pizza, you can see that this alone makes it impossible to agree with everything they say. Now, the video and written request to YouTube came from Rewriting Ripley, a podcast/website run by Katie McCourt, who has a history of going on long, unhinged rants against people who don't like Disney's Star Wars, always framing it as an alt-right, misogynist bigot problem. She really only has one script. Pity is that script isn't for Prozac. She also has an obsession with trying to get anyone who's against Disney Star Wars deplatformed. And when I say Katie loves long rants, I'm talking long. Here is one titled, "When Systematic Hatred of Women Online Goes Unnoticed. What does it say about us?" An amazing read, if you want a glimpse into the mind of a lunatic who is trying desperately to fit all of her random evidence into a predetermined outcome. It's fascinating in its blatant twisting of the truth to fit her hatred of people who don't like Disney Star Wars. What makes this particular lunatic rant so fascinating is that most of the examples Katie shows of women getting, as what she calls, abused online are from other women, as this article is talking about Raylos fighting with shippers, two groups made up of mostly women. But that won't stop Katie, because she spends a lot of time and mental gymnastics showing that even that fight was the fault of the alt-right misogynists. Alt-right trolls and their followers react to Boyega's tweet. Tell you, nothing says alt-right like black women, purple flowers, and My Little Pony. And Katie's extremely proud of her want to deplatform and demonetize the people she disagrees with. And she's been talking about it for years. Here's a section from her 2021 podcast, In Plain Sight, Part 3, What Have We Learned from Gamergate? Still going on about Gamergate, with the chapter title, Disavow and Deplatform.
But this is how the right wing knew how to push the country further to the right. And if you don't think that a lot of this starts on YouTube criticizing a film, again, I just don't think you've been paying attention. That's the way this playbook has always worked. This is only going to get worse. And if we don't stop and realize what we're enabling simply by not understanding it, nobody's being malicious here. We're talking about the safety, the lives, the rights of human beings. There's no both sides there. There's no both sides. And if we don't understand that, we're not going to like what we wake up to one day. So we can have this conversation now, or we can have it again in 5 years. And by that point, it's going to be too late. We need to do this now. Disavow and deplatform. It's that easy.
In what is a world championship level of zero self-awareness, Katie and her partner, on their very same podcast, start going off about the fact that the people they were trying to cancel responded and exposed who they were. Who would have thought of doing that?
I did not expect them to... I'll say it right now, did they dox me? Yes. Was it old information? Yes. It's old information, thank God. It was old information. The only thing they got relevant was basically public social media profiles, which is public, so,
Which is public, yeah.
I still went through the trouble of, changing every bit of information and going so far as to, paying, $300 to try to get my information, online wiped out.
That's obviously, this is going to happen if you're talking about this stuff as a woman on the internet, and that just kind of is what it is. And at some point, yeah, you do just have to take that.
We've got people in our lives that we're trying to look out for.
Yeah, within 24 hours, the YouTubers that we've been talking about in, the Fandom Menace, Comicsgate circle of things, took it and created videos about it, which is fine. I don't really have an issue with that at all. They survive on outrage culture. I fully expected them to make videos about it, even though we were a podcast with 150 followers. They will find any reason to be upset. If they were smart, they wouldn't have, because it confirms their own playbook. But they're not that smart.
Katie just can't believe someone would do that, even though she's been contacting YouTube for years to get people demonetized. These weirdo social justice liars always want to live by a different set of rules. They're always too self-absorbed to understand their own actions. It is a shame, though, that the Rewriting Ripley podcast died, because it really was a home for calm, rational discussion.
You know, and I knew what they were doing, you know what I mean? Like, I saw all this bullshit, constant videos of, look what these girls are doing to us now, oh my god, like, just crying, sobbing, like a child.
Posting your own words?
Yeah, what? Yeah, exactly. Grown men sobbing like a child, you know what I mean? Like, to their followers, just for what? Subscriptions? For followers? For, you know, like, I know what they're doing.
I must point out as well that the Disney shills who hate the critics of Disney still use the term the fandom menace, a term I haven't heard for years, and it always makes me laugh. As an original member of the fandom menace, I was of course included in an earlier Rewriting Ripley video that came out back in 2021, a video that is still proudly pinned to the Rewriting Ripley's homepage. There I am, that's my video, and there, that's mine too. My god, Ryan Kennel was a baby.
Is occluding this great myth of the hero.
Last week, author and writer Chuck Wendig was fired.
Politics flows from culture.
Rewriting Ripley's videos are at best a mess, blatantly using random and unconnected clips in an attempt to push a false narrative.
5 years later, when Bannon wound up at Breitbart, he resolved to try and attract those people over to Breitbart.
And for the amount of time Rewriting Ripley's Katie spends on hating certain individuals, and we're talking years now, she still struggles to find evidence of her claim of rampant racism and bigotry.
And it would be one thing if we actually saw some evidence of this, right? If we actually saw some of this shit she's talking about, but no, this is just gaslighting.
And even when she does show anything that could be taken as racist, it's usually a tweet that has no connection to the channels or individuals she's trying to take down.
An alarming number of users are exploiting their platforms to spread hate.
The current video, which has gained a lot less traction than the video from 2021, is truly bizarre. It relies heavily on an interview from 2016 with Milo Yiannopoulos, who has nothing to do with the discussion around Disney Star Wars. 2016, 8 years ago, 2 years before The Last Jedi came out, which started all this, with Milo Yiannopoulos, whose relevance died 5 minutes after 2016. And it's not just an interview with him. Tweets from 2016 are also used. But why? If the people Rewriting Ripley wants to take down are so bad and consistent with their online abuse, shouldn't there be hours of relevant videos and screenshots to use?
Why
not just use clips from all the people they are trying to take down? Even the comments that whiz by are mostly about the character in the show, or responding to the View episode that Amanda Sternberg guested on, which as far as I know is still allowed.
It is the most kind of narcissistic, lack of self-awareness.
Katie and her online friends, who are all victims of opinion, are also very good at using specific language to try and drum up support. Language that people with half a conscience or a brain would never use. But no victim of imaginary abuse can victim hard enough in the online world, so we see the repeated use of language like,
a handful of YouTubers have jeopardized the safety of our community and the creatives we love for too long. The Star Wars fandom demands action. Hate should not be a career path.
And to YouTube's initial response,
thank you, relevant videos and channels have been reported. We hope you make the right decision.
Well, YouTube did make the right decision. It was glorious. Thanks for reaching out. Just heard back and confirmed that this content is not violative and will remain up. We totally understand you may not agree with this decision. Little did YouTube know. But we reviewed this video very carefully against our policies. This sent Katie into a tailspin.
At Team YouTube, this is an admission that you have not reviewed our concerns, proven by saying this video when there are 10 plus videos in question. However, thank you for confirming your inability to take safety seriously. You and your advertisers will be hearing from us soon.
You and your advertisers will be hearing from us soon. Now the unhinged Katie is threatening YouTube. And don't worry, she did try and contact some advertisers who ignored her, but it gets better.
Additionally, I would like to point out at Team YouTube that nobody in Star Wars fandom has requested selected videos be removed, simply that a handful of YouTube channels should be demonetized. The lack of clarity in your response to address our real concerns is appalling.
Simply that a handful of YouTube channels be demonetized. That's all. Just simply take away the livelihood of people you don't like. Hey, Katie, no biggie.
Disavow and deplatform. It's that easy.
And I like how the main concern of the videos is the safety of people, but she doesn't mind if the videos stay up, as long as no one makes any money from them.
The only video that I've ever gotten removed from one of these channels, and that was an Ethan Van Sciver comic book, of that dude's video, whatever. We already went over this, but I'm saying, like, that's one of the only things I've ever successfully gotten removed. And the thing is like, they just have to chill for 90 days, and then all their strikes go away.
Yeah, it's funny because it's almost as if cancel culture, It's not a real thing.
Now, while the request from rewriting Ripley's Katie McCourt, a person who clearly has social and anger problems, was pathetic on its own, it was the fact that many other YouTubers not only supported the post, but they went out of their way to repost it to YouTube in an attempt to have people they don't agree with silenced. Individuals, I might add, who rely on selling Disney's Star Wars product in the hope of making a living.
I somehow got to be an extra in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hey at Team YouTube, enough with the hate little grifting.
That is rich from the guy whose whole life has been trying to grift off Star Wars.
What challenges does Rey face in the new film?
Over a decade of grifting, and still no one's watching him.
Lamp.
Sam? Lamp, that is correct. And still.
I want the variation of Space Torch.
We're not going to give you Space Torch there.
Now, you could have thousands of channels on YouTube making videos praising Disney Star Wars, and it wouldn't make any difference to me and my ability to make money on YouTube. But for some bizarre reason, the Disney shills believe that the channels criticizing Disney do affect their ability to make a living on YouTube, as if the channels criticizing Disney are somehow hypnotizing the general public into not liking Star Wars.
The acolyte cancellation. At what stage of grief are you at right now?
I'm still a little angry.
The shills should give the general audience more credit. They can make up their own minds about current Star Wars. They can also make up their own minds about if the shill content is any good or entertaining to watch, because from what I've seen, it's shit.
How do you know if a Gungan is flirting with you? Jar Jar winks.
Most of these fake clowns couldn't keep Grandma entertained, and she's desperate for attention.
Our YouTube channel and where we started. So we gave it time, we built it up slowly, and we gave videos the chance that they needed to.
Christ, they are boring. No wonder they all get such low views. Every single one of them. No matter how many subscribers they apparently have. The struggle of producing so much bad content in the hope of being rewarded by going to some crappy premiere or getting a free toy, or the ultimate being on stage at the Disney Cult Convention must be tiring. I'd like to solve it, Pat. Please kill me. All these pricks are just hoping to remove people from YouTube who are more successful than them. Just look at all these shills. So bloody pitiful. Molly Damon from the wonderful and very entertaining Star Wars Explained, a channel with a history of going after other channels, was right on board with the whole demonetizing of other channels. I think she's the one on the left, because I really have trouble telling them apart. For years I thought they were sisters, and I'm still not 100% sure they're not. Hang on, let's check this. Yes, good to go. She even added that she had spoken at length about this in the past, and added, the only way things get better is if Team YouTube does something to discourage this kind of content. Until then, it will only get worse. I would love to know if any of these wonderful people have ever read 1984, and I'd love to know which side they think they'd be on. We all know which side they'd be on. Disney. Anyway, it didn't take long for Molly. Again, I think she's the one not in the Leia costume.
I tried to sew last night and ruined it and had to undo everything. And then today you helped me and fixed it.
Anyway, it didn't take long for Molly to backtrack. Yes, once people started encouraging Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers and RK Outpost to sue the online shills, Molly here must have shit her pumpkin spice because she wanted to make it very clear that she did not start any sort of campaign and only shared 2 images.
Thank you for all the love and support over the past few days. It really means a lot. I never started any sort of campaign. I just agreed with and shared 2 images that were created and shared first by another podcast, who I guess want to remain anonymous in all of this. Love y'all, heart symbol.
I thought the guy in the bra looked weak, but Molly, Jesus. And I could have sworn that she didn't just share those images. I could have sworn that she sent those 2 images to YouTube with the instructions that things could only get better if YouTube did something. Yes, let's just pretend that all these shills didn't get together and plan this out. I mean, they only all sent it out at the same time. But on a lighter side, it hasn't gone great for the Star Wars Explained since participating in this organised, targeted campaign. Every one of their wonderful videos is getting badly ratioed. Isn't that a shame?
Anyway, I had a great workout today. Weather is finally cooling off and the pumpkin spice is flowing. Nothing can ruin my fall vibes.
What if someone tried to take away your livelihood, Molly? Would that ruin your fall vibes? Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them. People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others.
Okay. I like that.
And we can't forget about rewriting Ripley's Katie and her Twitter account. She came out defending Molly in a very bizarre and eye-opening tweet.
Molly Damon didn't start any demands to YouTube this week. Other YouTubers involved have a timeline of tweets. They know who tweeted first. This isn't about truth.
Yes, we know, Katie.
It's about narrative and stoking the base. Star Wars Theory,
who Molly and her husband don't like,
is a coward and a liar. I stand with Star Wars Explained.
This tweet is fucking amazing. The self-delusion, the zero self-awareness, the straight-out lies. This tweet alone explains everything you need to know about Katie from rewriting Ripley and her shill friends who organised this deplatforming campaign. Molly Damon didn't start any demands to YouTube last week. Other YouTubers involved have a timeline of the tweets. They know who tweeted first. Yes, Katie, we know. It was you. You tweeted it first using the rewriting Ripley account. That's your account. This isn't about truth. The lack of self-awareness and lack of honesty is staggering. It's about a narrative of stoking the base. Yes, it is, Katie. That's all you have been doing for years now. Pushing a narrative and stoking the base. Using race and bigotry as a weapon in a sad attempt to take down the people you don't like. And it's disgusting.
Disavow and deplatform. It's that easy.
And all these clowns are just too happy to join in. Every one of them a grifter selling garbage.
I mean, the Yord Horde stuff that we got sent, if they have a book with Yord in it after all this and they get rid of it, what's the point?
Don't throw my tissues.
What's the point?
From the very beginning of my channel, I've had stalkers and other channels trying to get me removed. I even had someone make a petition to take down my channel. Sadly, it only got a handful of signatures. That really hurt my feelings. I had to spread the word to get the numbers up a bit. Because, are you anyone if you're not hated? But seriously, a complete stranger wanted to take away my ability to make a living because they didn't like what I was saying about a TV show. These idiots think that's normal. Luckily, they failed. And here's a tip for anyone starting an online petition to have someone removed. Don't use your real name and don't live only 40 minutes away from the creator's house. Boy, did that guy get a surprise when I called him up saying I was coming over to discuss the petition with him in person. That petition vanished within minutes.
People of color seeing themselves in Star Wars is so, so important. And, you know, we can't say for sure that this show was not renewed because everyone was calling it woke.
I give more credit to the audience than all these clowns do. I don't believe the general public is racist or bigoted. I don't believe the general audience would support bigoted and racist channels. I also don't believe the audience can be tricked or grifted into supporting these channels and watching content they don't enjoy. In other words, I trust you guys. The Disney fan channels, they do not trust you guys. The Disney shills do think that the Star Wars audience is full of bigots and racist fans who are so stupid they can be tricked into hating Disney content. These clowns don't respect the audience at all, which is on full display when they are trying to gaslight their own audience into thinking that the Acolyte failed for every other reason besides it being a terrible show.
You know, they were given more than just 8 episodes.
Also that, yeah.
Like, they're giving these creators and these storytellers so little to work with that how is it supposed to succeed?
Right.
If we don't give it a shot for a larger length of time, you know, let people who didn't watch it every night the moment it came out, let those people find the show and watch it themselves.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
Thankfully and happily, a quick look at their comments shows that they should respect their own audience a bit more, because nearly every comment under their Acolyte cancellation video is telling them how delusional they are with their pro-Disney take.
It's really unfortunate that people aren't even giving stuff a chance anymore, because I think nowadays it's like our attention spans are so small and short, and people don't want anything new or challenging.
Are you delusional?
Myself and other channels that criticize Disney and their content are just sharing our own opinions, and thankfully and happily, a lot of you guys like to listen to it. We don't sell ourselves as anything but who we are. The Disney shills, they'll always sell themselves as the good guys, and they'll sell you that crap, all for the pathetic chance of feeling slightly important to Disney. Trust me, none of these Disney corporations selling shills are the good guys. They work for Disney in trying to silence critics, and they are paid in trinkets and movie tickets.
Hi, Leslie. How are you? Hi, good to see you.
I somehow got to be an extra in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Manny's also coming to DragonCon, which was announced like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I've seen people tagging him and being like, there's an Acolyte panel that we're on with some other people, and I'm like, if Manny shows up to that, I will faint.
Me too. Hold me with those arms.
Room's starting to spin real fast. Because of gayness.